There's a moment that happens in almost every long-term relationship. You're sitting on the couch. Your partner is right there, 3 feet away, scrolling their phone. The TV is on, the room is quiet, and you feel completely alone. Not because anything dramatic happened, not because you don't love each other, but because somewhere along the way, the space between you stopped feeling like an invitation and started feeling like a wall. You try to bring it up. Hey, can we talk? And something shifts in the room the second those words come out. They tense. You feel it. And suddenly, you're both performing okayness, pretending the distance isn't there, pretending it doesn't ache. And a voice in your head whispers, why does this keep happening? Is this just what long-term love feels like? Am I the problem? Is this my fault? Here's what I want you to hear right now. The relationship didn't get harder because your love faded. It got harder because your safety did. And if you can understand nothing else from this video, understand this. Safety isn't the opposite of passion. Safety is the foundation of passion, every time. You're not failing at love. You're in a normal, painful, fixable place that almost every couple hits. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly what emotional safety is, why it erodes without anyone meaning for it to, and how to rebuild it. Not with more effort, but with a completely different approach. Let's get into it. Before we get into the points, I need to reframe something that most relationship advice gets completely wrong. Most couples believe that intimacy problems are communication problems. Like, if you could just say the right words, in the right way, at the right time, your partner would finally get it, and things would shift. But here's what attachment science tells us, and this is the shift that changes everything. Your partner's nervous system is reading you before their mind can catch up. Before they can process what you're saying, their body is asking, is this person safe to be around right now? And that answer isn't based on your words. It's based on your tone, your presence, the micro expressions on your face, the way you hold your body when you walk into a room after a hard day. When someone grew up in a household where big emotions were unsafe, where anger was destructive, where sadness was inconvenient, where vulnerability was exploited, their nervous system becomes hypervigilant. It reads any charged moment as potentially dangerous, even a calm, reasonable conversation about feelings. And here's the part no one talks about. When your partner shuts down, it's not because they don't care. It's because their nervous system is saying, this feels like danger. I need to go quiet and wait for it to pass. It's not rejection, it's protection. And until you understand that every behavior in a disconnected relationship is someone's nervous system trying to keep them safe, you will keep accidentally making it worse. This reframe is the foundation for everything we're about to go through. Point 1. The difference between being heard and being met. The pattern. Most couples think they're having a conversation when they're actually having two separate monologues. One person speaks, the other waits for their turn. They internally prepare their defense, their counterpoint, their clarification. And in that waiting, something important gets lost. The part where you're actually trying to understand, not just respond. The deeper truth. When your partner shares something vulnerable, a fear, an insecurity, a frustration about you, their nervous system is taking a risk. They don't know how you'll use what they just handed you. They don't know if you'll meet them or diminish them. And every relationship has a track record that their body is calculating on. If past vulnerability was met with fixing, advising, or dismissiveness, their nervous system is already braced before they finish speaking. The real-life contrast. Disconnecting version. Partner, I just feel like you're not really present when we're together. You, I was literally sitting right here. I asked you about your day. What do you mean not present? What do you want me to do differently? Connecting version. Partner, I just feel like you're not really present when we're together. You, I hear you. Help me understand. When did you start feeling that way? Was there a specific moment, or has it been building? And when you respond with genuine curiosity instead of defense, something in their chest loosens. And that's the moment your partner starts to believe that bringing you their pain won't cost them. Point 2. The pause before reacting. The pattern. Most people in relationships respond to their partner's words with their immediate emotional reaction. The instant they feel criticized, dismissed, or blamed, their nervous system goes into alert mode and they fire back. Not because they're bad people, but because no one ever taught them that the space between feeling and responding is where safety is actually built. The deeper truth. Emotional reactivity is contagious. When you react strongly, your partner's nervous system mirrors it. Their amygdala lights up. And now you're both in threat mode, speaking from your defenses, trying to win an argument neither of you actually wanted to have. But here's what changes everything. One person in the room can change the whole emotional temperature, and it almost always has to start with you. The real-life contrast. Disconnecting version. Partner, you never help around the house anymore. I feel like I'm doing everything. You, I just did the dishes yesterday. You act like I do nothing. You don't even notice when I... Connecting version. Partner, you never help around the house anymore. I feel like I'm doing everything. You, internal pause, noticing the defensive urge, choosing differently. That sounds exhausting. I don't want you to feel like you're carrying this alone. Can we figure out a system together? And what your partner's nervous system quietly registers in that pause is, oh, this person can hold me without collapsing. Maybe I'm not alone in this. Point 3. Making repairs before you're ready. The pattern. Most couples wait to repair until they're calm, until they're ready, until the other person has earned it. So they spend days in cold wars, punishing silences, strategic distance, and in that space, emotional scar tissue forms. Every unresolved conflict adds a layer, until the pile is so thick that the thought of being truly close feels overwhelming. The deeper truth, repair doesn't require resolution. It requires presence. You don't have to agree on everything to say, I love you. I'm not going anywhere. I don't want us to be in this much distance. You can reach across the conflict and remind your partner that the relationship is still intact, even when the disagreement isn't resolved yet. And this is critical. The repairs have to happen before you feel like doing them. Because your partner isn't waiting for you to be ready. They're waiting for a signal that you still see them, that you still want them close, that this isn't the time they're going to lose you. The real-life contrast. Disconnecting version. 3 days of silence after a fight. Finally, one person breaks and says, I guess we should talk. The other person, still bristling, yeah, I guess. Neither one has actually moved, they're just performing compliance. Connecting version. The next morning, after a hard night, one person sits on the edge of the bed and says, I couldn't sleep. I don't want us to be this far apart. I know we're not done with this, but I miss you. Can we just sit together for a minute? And when you make a repair before it feels natural, before your ego has fully recovered, your partner feels something they haven't felt in a long time. Oh, this person chooses us over being right. Point 4. The story you're telling about them. The pattern. Most people in relationships carry a running internal narrative about their partner, a story that started somewhere, maybe from a fight, maybe from a pattern, maybe from a childhood wound that this relationship is triggering, and that story now colors every interaction. When your partner is late, you're thinking, they don't respect my time. When they seem distant, you're thinking, they're pulling away again. The story runs automatically, below the surface, and it shapes how you respond before you've even consciously chosen. The deeper truth. The story you're telling about your partner is almost never about them. It's about you. It's about the wounds you've carried, the fears you've developed, the things that have happened to you in relationships before. And when you let that story run the show, you respond to your interpretation instead of the actual person in front of you. This is where safety either builds or erodes, in the space between what your partner actually said or did and the story you added to it. The real-life contrast. Disconnecting version. Partner comes home quiet and withdrawn. Internal story. Here they go again. They're already pulling away. They don't want to talk to me. Something is wrong with us. Response. Pulling back to match their energy, giving them the silent treatment in return, preemptively protecting yourself from the rejection you're already expecting. Connecting version. Partner comes home quiet and withdrawn. Internal check-in. What is actually happening right now? What am I adding to this? Response. Hey, you seem really in your head. I'm here if you want to talk, but if you just need some space, I totally get it too. Just want you to know I'm not going anywhere. And when you choose to respond to who they actually are in this moment, instead of who your fear says they are, you give them room to come back to you on their own terms. And that way of coming back is always deeper than being pulled back. Point 5. The emotional basement. The pattern. Most couples only access the deepest emotional layer of their relationship during moments of crisis. A death, a diagnosis, a major betrayal. During ordinary life, they stay in the lobby. They talk about logistics, schedules, work. They share information, but not interiority. They have a shared life, but not a shared inner world. And over time, the emotional basement, the place where your real fears, your childhood wounds, your secret hopes, the parts of yourself you don't show anyone else, that stays locked. Because it hasn't been practiced, because the safety to go there hasn't been established. The deeper truth: intimacy isn't built in the big moments. It's built in the 30-second ones. The moment when you could deflect, and instead you lean in. The moment when you could keep something superficial, and instead you say, "Actually, I was thinking about my dad today, and I don't know why it's hitting me." The moment when your partner tells you something small, and you don't rush past it. Every time you go a little deeper than is comfortable, you're building a muscle. And every time your partner responds to that depth with presence instead of panic, the door to the basement cracks open a little wider. The real-life contrast. Disconnecting version. I had a weird dream last night. Oh yeah? What about? I don't know, something weird. All right. Hey, did you remember to call the dentist? And the moment closes. The door shuts. Connecting version. I had a weird dream last night. What was it? I don't know. I woke up and I just felt... I don't know how to explain it. Like I was a kid again and no one was coming. Pause. I wasn't expecting to say that out loud. Come here. I'm glad you told me. And that's when intimacy stops being something you schedule and starts being something you build without either of you having to say a word. Point 6. What to do when they go silent. The pattern. Most people interpret silence as anger, rejection, or punishment. So they panic, they push, they ask questions that are really please. What are you thinking? Why won't you talk to me? Are we okay? And every question from their side of the wall feels like pressure, like one more thing they have to manage. And so they go quieter, and you push harder, and the cycle tightens. The deeper truth. Stonewalling, which is what this pattern is called, is almost never anger. It's overwhelm. It's someone whose nervous system has been on high alert for so long that the only tool left is shut down. They are not giving you the silent treatment to hurt you. They are going silent because everything feels like too much, including words. And here's the crucial thing. Pushing them to talk before they're regulated will never work. The only way out is through calm, not through intensity. The real-life contrast. Disconnecting version. They're stonewalling. You follow them. We need to talk about this. You can't just walk away. Say something. I'm standing right here and you're treating me like I don't exist. Connecting version. They're stonewalling. You recognize the pattern. You take a breath. You say, I'm going to give you some space. I'm not going anywhere. When you're ready, I'll be here. I love you. And then you let them have the quiet they need, without making them manage your anxiety on top of their own. And when you can hold space for their withdrawal, without collapsing, without making it about you, your partner will eventually come back to you. And the thing that brings them back won't be the conversation. It'll be the realization. This person can survive my darkness without needing me to fix it for them. Point 7. Being the one who goes first. The pattern. Most couples are locked in a waiting game. Both people are secretly hoping the other one will go first. Be more vulnerable, reach more, break the pattern. Because going first feels risky. What if you open up and they don't meet you? What if you try and nothing changes? What if you reach and they just aren't there? So they both wait and nothing moves. The deeper truth. The research is unambiguous. In every relationship, someone has to go first. Not because it's fair, not because it's your job to carry everything, but because the person who leads with vulnerability has the power to change the emotional field for both people. And in relationships where safety has eroded, someone has to be brave enough to be the first one back in the room. This is not about being the one who always gives in, or always folds, or always absorbs the other person's stuff. It's about being the one who says, I'm going to reach for you first, even though I don't know if you'll reach back. Because the alternative is us drifting forever, and I'd rather risk being wrong than lose you. The real-life contrast. Disconnecting version. Both people sitting in silence, both waiting, both secretly hoping the other will make the first move. Days pass, the distance becomes normal. Both people start building parallel lives and wondering when things changed. Connecting version. One person breaks first. Not with a demand, not with a complaint, just, I miss us. I don't know exactly what happened, but I know we used to be closer, and I want that back. I'm not here to fight, I'm just here to reach for you. And when you go first, when you reach without knowing if they'll meet you, you're not just trying to fix the relationship. You're becoming the kind of person who builds the kind of relationship you've always wanted. And that identity shift is everything. Here's what I want you to take away from this. Emotional safety isn't about being perfect. It's not about never having hard conversations or never losing your cool or never getting it wrong. It's about what you do after you get it wrong. It's about showing up the next morning and saying, I'm still here. We're still us. And I didn't give up on us when it got hard. This isn't a checklist. It's an invitation to show up differently, and that changes everything about what's possible between you and the person you chose. When you build emotional safety, when your partner knows, in their body, in their nervous system, before their mind even catches up, that you are a safe person to be around, to fail around, to be honest around, to be messy around, everything else follows. The communication improves, the conflict softens, the intimacy deepens. Not because you figured out the right words, but because you became someone who makes the people around them feel like they can stop bracing. These aren't tips for a better relationship. They are the beginning of becoming the kind of partner you always wanted someone to be for you. And here's the mic drop truth. Real intimacy doesn't start when you find the right person. It starts when you decide to become one. If this video landed for you, if something shifted while you were listening, share it with someone who's in that place right now. That quiet, aching place where they feel close to the wrong person or far from the right one. And hit subscribe, because we're going to keep going deeper into the stuff that actually matters. I'll see you in the next one.